There's a big difference between building your brand and promoting your brand, and it should not take years to build a brand.
It doesn't.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Well, lots of people have reached out to us over the years, and a lot recently too. Ask us questions about building their personal brand. Some hot topic questions.
Hot topic questions. These two questions are the ones that stand out the most to us, that we hear the most often. Mm-hmm. How long does it take to build your brand?
Good question.
Number one. That's a great question. When will I start seeing results? Which is better question. Right. Well, today we're going to answer both of those with transparency and in detail. You're going to love the answers, guys.
And you can ask us any questions live if you want. Just put them in the comments and we'll make sure to get to them. And don't forget to subscribe, guys. If this topic helps you understand more about building your brand, we would love it. We could use the support. All right, so let's get started on those answers. But first of all, I'm Tonya Eberhardt, founder of Brandface, where we help experts and influencers differentiate themselves, and we do that through personal branding.
I'm Michael Carr. I'm the COO of Brandface. Listen, folks, I was actually a client of Brandface, and the principles made my company so successful, and they continue to do so, that I wanted to share that with everybody else in any entrepreneurial space. So I bought into the company, became a partner, and now we're the most comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.
That's so a mouthful.
Thank y'all so much for joining us here. We got great information for you about how to make money with your personal brand.
Yep. So let's address what many of you are thinking. Okay. So question number one, how long does it take to build a brand? Well, there are actually two parts to this question. First, how long does the process take before your brand is ready to present to the world? The actual building process, right? Then the second part to that question is, then how long does it take to build brand recognition? So most of you have heard that it can take years to build brand recognition.
Yep. Which is wrong, right?
Yeah.
All right. The second one is, when should I start seeing the results? All right. So most of you think that it may take years to build brand recognition, and then certainly results only follow that, or, that's sort of how people position that into their minds.
Yes. Unfortunately, that's wrong.
But it's wrong.
Right?
It's backwards.
Personal branding is more than just an ethereal thought process. In fact, we developed a formula for it, and it's called the 3D formula. It's broken into 3 steps: define, develop, and display. We're not going to walk through those with you today. You can find that on 1,000 other videos if you go to our YouTube channel, right? So, but the define, develop, and display is that 3-step formula.
Yeah. And another thing you need to know is that a good, strong brand is so much more than a photo, a tagline, a logo. All right. But if you've been with us for longer than a second, you already know that. But I want to insert an actual real life event that happened to me today. I was at an event unrelated to real estate. I'm in a real estate business, real estate space. A guy shakes my hand, introduces himself. I shake his hand and say, I'm Michael Carr. And he looked at me and said, are you the Michael Carr in real estate? And I said, yes. That is my brand making me money at a totally unrelated event, solely because I had put that out there. All right. I want you to keep that in the back of your mind while we're talking to you about how we did that, because that's what we do for everybody else. Let's answer the first question. How long does it take you to build your brand? This one's extremely easy. The average time to build your brand fully, like 100% from start to finish, is about 6 to 8 weeks. All right. That's all the 3 steps completed, start to finish.
Yeah. And the good news is, why does it take 6 to 8 weeks? Well, first of all, we've created an incredible step-by-step system. I'm not here to take you through every step of it today. Again, we talk about that in a lot of other videos, but in that system, we handle the bulk of the heavy lifting for you. So all we ask you guys to do is come to the table with authenticity and honesty and energy, right? Some enthusiasm. We've been at this for years now, and we're by no means declaring to be perfect at it, but we have made it our mission.
Pretty close.
Michael would say we're perfect. We made it our mission to like perfect the process of building a personal brand. And we do things in a very specific order. Anybody who has ever worked with me knows I'm very well organized, sometimes too organized for some people, right? So, but we put it in a certain system so nothing falls through the cracks.
Yep. There are, in our program, there's 7 modules or steps we take together to get your brand ready to introduce to the world. And behind the scenes, our expertise looks at 77 different criteria when we're building your brand, right? But you only have to pay attention to the 7 steps that we're going to lead you through, okay? That's the only part that we need your help from, right? We made the process so easy. I did it when I was traveling 250,000 miles a year on an airplane and sleeping in a hotel about 175 nights a year. Okay. That was 8 years ago when I first became a Brandface. I had an office in Atlanta, an office in Irvine, California, an office in Seattle, Washington. Still found time to do it. All right.
Right. Okay. So then the question becomes, how much of your time will it take? Right. So our clients spend an hour and 15 minutes a week inside the program. We have really drilled it down to like
an hour and 15 minutes,
right?
Guys.
Yeah. So we handle the rest, an hour and 15 minutes a week. And think about this, working on you while we take all the details, we take on all the details to define, develop, and display the brand, to display how you're different from everybody else in your industry. Here's what it means for you, though. It's priceless, right? You've seen those old MasterCard commercials, $2,500 for tickets to the big game, spending quality time with your son, priceless, right? And Michael, he knows it's worked for him. It's worked for me, right? And he uses the same principles and messaging every single day,
every second of every day. My brand is making me money while I'm talking to you guys right now.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Now let's address the other half of that question. How long does it take to build brand recognition? So there's the building blocks of the brand, putting it all together, the actual building, right? And then there is promoting your brand. Some people refer to that as building. We call it building brand recognition. So why do people believe it takes years to build a brand? Well, as we say, there's a big difference between building your brand and promoting your brand. And it should not take years to build a brand.
It doesn't.
Yes, of course, the more you put it out there, the more it's going to grow over time. So the brand does continue to grow. That's a great part about it, but it shouldn't take years to build it. You see, brand recognition is not based on time. I want you to write this down. Brand recognition is not based on time
or money spent.
That's true. It's based on exposures. Exposures.
Each time you put your brand out there, you're impacting one or more people's or persons. Okay. It may take several times of being exposed to your brand before it begins to resonate with a certain person, but it doesn't take decades or even years or even months. It literally takes exposures. Every time I pull my card out and I hand it to somebody, that's one more exposure to my brand that somebody, I'll find a thing in a minute, that somebody has just learned about me. And then you start getting comments back from people like I did today. Are you the Michael Carr in real estate? Right? I mean, if you go, listen, guys, just go to White Pages and put in Michael Carr and see how many Michael Cars in the world there are. There's like literally 8 billion of them. Like I think every other person's named Michael Carr. It's not the name. It's not going to stand out. Right. I might as well be Jim Smith. All right. But when somebody says to you, are you the Michael Carr in real estate? That means that my exposures, the times that I have used my brand and infused my brand in everything that I do is working. Yeah. And people know who I am and what I do and why I do it.
And it's a lot more than just handing out your card, obviously. Every time you send an email with your branded email signature, every time you shoot a video and use your elevator pitch, every time you post on social media, share part of your story, every time you shake somebody's hand and introduce yourself with your brand identifier, every time you advertise with your branding elements, like I could go on for days. I'm running out of breath.
Every time you wear your shirt, each time you're promoting and building your brand recognition until it resonates in people. And folks, look, we say it all the time. Tonya says it all the time. Go to the big Z, go to the big R, go to those guys and buy platforms, buy your leads, go whatever industry you're in, right? Go buy leads. If you're in the podcast industry, go start being guests and getting to be hosts with other guests. If you're a coach, a speaker, an author, anybody that's in those spaces that's talking about it, go and talk to them and find your leads. And the minute you stop paying for those leads, they stop giving you leads, right? Your brand doesn't work that way. I will still be known as, are you the Michael Carr in real estate 10 years from now? 10 years from now, all built on one recognition at a time. All right.
Yeah. And as you guys know, I want to sidebar here for a moment, because as you guys know, there are lots of definitions out there for a brand. You know, some people say a brand is your reputation, a brand is what your clients think of you. All of that is true. You know, there are lots of nuances out here. We're talking about building a brand the way you want people to see you, right? And Michael's brand identifier is Abundant Life Broker. So they're not just seeing a cold logo, right? They're seeing a presence, a persona, an image, and a message that tells why he is the Abundant Life Broker. And it evokes a feeling from people, a feeling of success. Hey, that guy cares about my success. He wants me to have an abundant life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether I'm his customer or whether I'm one of his agents or whether I'm just a potential investment partner or whatever.
Even down to our Brandface clients, right?
Exactly.
We desire the same success, no matter what it is, no matter what that genre is.
Okay, so now on to question number 2. How quickly can you begin to see results from your new brand?
This is my favorite one.
Yeah, it is. Okay, here it goes, guys. We can discover your point of differentiation, and you can begin setting yourself apart from everyone else in your industry in as little as a week. Yep. Meaning
1 week.
That's going to bring you results.
1 week. In our 3D formula, the first thing we do is define. That's where we learn who you are and who you're trying to attract. It's where we help you find your main point of differentiation. And then based on those things, we choose a brand identifier. You would call that a tagline or slogan that will set the tone and direction for your brand moving forward. In other words, it states in just a few words what you want to be known for. I could shake hands with people and say, what do you do? Well, I happen to be in the real estate business, and also I'm a partner in a program, and I help people become successful by using personal branding. I could do that. They might listen to me for that long. It's better when I say, well, I'm the Abundant Life Broker. And then I just look at them, and then they go, well, what does that mean? Now I got them.
Right.
They've asked me a question.
It's very interesting to them. It's compelling at that point. And once you know what you stand for, meaning that brand identifier that sets the tone and direction for your brand, once you know that, literally everything begins to change immediately, guys. You begin to think differently, to introduce yourself differently, to have different conversations. The paradigm shifts and the success begins. And it can literally happen the moment you learn what sets you apart and what we're going to ride that brand out on, right? Like riding that surfboard on the waves. That's your surfboard, your brand identifier.
Yep. Listen, we have numerous calls from our clients who tell us that they're already getting new business in a week or two from starting to use their brand identifier. All right. And which is one of the first things we do. We're going to attack when you join the program. Not only did our prospects see them differently, but what is killer about what we get to do for a living is they saw themselves differently. So all of a sudden, they've removed a lot of the confusion that comes with whatever the industry is in. They have shunned all the shiny, and now they are focused on direction of their company and going towards their prospects. And it all starts with joining a program that's going to show you what that point of differentiation is.
Yep. And remember, you can't calculate the cost of confusion from Michael himself. You can't calculate the cost of confusion. I'll share one story with you that is just one of my favorite to this day. And it happened very early on in the Brandface world when we started, over 8 years ago. There was an awesome lady in upstate New York, and she was in the real estate industry. And she came to us, and we had only been maybe a week or so into the program, and she was given her brand identifier and her elevator pitch. And so she calls me one day very excited, and she said, I just had to call you and tell you this. I've been in real estate 21 years. And she said, the last week, I've just been going out and introducing myself to people with my elevator pitch and telling them what I'm known for now. And she said, literally, they stop in their tracks, their eyes open wide, and they say, wow, that's what you do now? That's exactly where I am in my life right now. that resonated with her ideal customer. And that's
Mhm.
what it takes. You've got to go through the steps to get to that point, to know that what you're saying and the brand that you're putting out there is resonating with who you want it to resonate with. That's happened many times since then. That one just happens to be my favorite because it was our very first one. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I just want to wrap this up. So we answered those two major questions for you. How long does it take to build a brand? The building process we talked about, and then the brand recognition we talked about. And I'm telling you, if there's any one thing I want you guys to take away from today, is that the brand recognition should not take months or years.
It doesn't.
It does. It's not dependent upon time. It is dependent upon exposures, right? And the right exposures, I might say. And the results can start as soon as you begin to see the light. The fog clears away. You know what you stand for. You know that brand identifier. And let me tell you, it gets better every day as you move through the program.
It does.
Okay. All right. So as you can tell, we're very passionate about this, guys.
Well, we also know it works. Like, and we've done the studies, and I am living proof of it. And now we have thousands of clients that are living proof of it. You get a brand, use your brand will constantly be working for you. Listen, guys, if you say, hey, I want to get started on this thing right here, you need to go to discussyourbrand.com. Discussyourbrand.com. You can schedule a free session with us. You can talk about the next steps in moving in that brand, whether you have one now, whether you have one and you're stagnant, whether you think you have one and you're not sure. Anywhere in the process, we're here for y'all. We've already been through it. We're the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe. Okay. Listen, we have clients that we design newspaper ads for. Think about that for a minute. Print written newspaper ads. We are still designing those for clients. Why? Because their clients are on the other side of that newspaper, right? Now, for those of us who spend a lot more time in the digital world, much to Ron's point that we're dealing with, there's a lot of other people that are not on the other end of that newspaper. So we'll help you do that in the program too. We'll help you decide, like, where is that ideal customer? Where's their ear and eyes? Because that's where you want to be when you're building a company. We work with a lot of podcasters, a lot of authors and speakers and coaches, and, they're more tied into a lot of the digital world. But, if you take some of those, like authors and speakers, print material is still very important. So we deal with all of those genres. But I do, to your point specifically, I love the new digital business cards.
It's another marketing tool. And the way we look at that, there are many, many, many marketing tools out there. You choose the ones that, number one, your ideal customer utilizes, and number two, something you like to utilize and will passionately and consistently utilize.
So important.
That's the big thing, because you can't do everything. You need to pick a few things that you do well and you do consistently. And so if that's one of them, that's awesome. Just a reminder, if you like what you've heard today, we encourage you to like it, love it, share it, and ding, subscribe so you can know when the next topic comes out. Hopefully we'll help you guys.
Yep. Hey guys, it's about prosperity. And when we talk about it, we're not just talking about money. We're talking about the full 360 of an abundant life that we truly wish for every one of y'all. We know here at Brandface that prosperity favors the bold. So we say be bold, especially with your brand, folks. Build that brand out. And thank you, Ms. Tonya, of course.
Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.
Brought to you by Brandface, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.